All right, so we have to talk about this Dame situation. So Al, I'm interested because I'm a Blazers fan. What's your take on the Dame situation?
On Dame, I think they should do the Herschel Walker with Dame. He gave everything he gave to Portland. I don't care what anybody says. Like, how long you want the guy to give his whole career to Portland? You know what I'm saying? I think in the Portland fans' eyes, he gave it all he got. Now he's opportunity to leave behind somewhat of a legacy in Portland. It's not in the form of a ring, but it could be, because Herschel Walker, when he left, everybody was like, "Oh my God, he left." Herschel Walker left them Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, and Emmitt Smith, which led
Made that team.
that's 3 Super Bowls on the strength of Herschel Walker. So Herschel Walker walks through Dallas right now. He's God. So I think that's more along the lines of what Dame should be. He needs to leave Portland, let them get a lion's share of picks, some players, because, you brought this up. They got good young pieces. So do a little coaching. Get some pieces, do some coaching, you know what I mean, and make a run. They can make a run if they get some pieces. And we'll get later to who I think they should get.
There's a lot of this debate about thought he was loyalty. Like, to what extent do you think loyalty should even be part of this conversation, or how does it even factor in?
Nah, man, fuck loyalty. Listen, loyalty only go loyalty and stupidity. It's the cousin. It's like sleep is the cousin of death. Loyalty and stupidity are cousins, bro. So you could be loyal. Loyal is a great thing, but people are only so loyal up until a point. Okay, he's not 23, 24. You know what I mean? The guy rode it out in Portland. And now it's like, give the guy a break. I'm giving Dame a break. Go do something. Go find another move. Go get a ring, bro. He deserves it. That's it. And if you don't feel like that as a Portland fan, not you, but if the Portland fans out there, if you don't feel like that, like, you're just being selfish at this point. You just want him to die. You know what I'm saying? He got 4 more years. You just want those 4 years to die in Portland.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it and I think it's a shame we got to this point, right? Because I actually think when Dame and CJ were together, there's a lot of people that are like, there are 2 guards that score that don't play defense. CJ's the problem. I don't think CJ was the problem. The problem was we had nothing at the 3 and the 4, and we had a decent person at the 5 in Nurk, right? But the 1 and the 2 were not the problem, and everybody kept focusing on that. But we never had anybody real at the 3-4. We had guys like Alfred Camino and Mo Harkless and and over the hill Carmelo Anthony, who was actually very, very good. But we had Norm Powell. But like, we needed that 3rd guy in that set. And that's why people are like, if LaMarcus Aldridge had stayed. Yeah, exactly. Someone that's close to Dame's level, right? Yeah. And like, look, injuries aside and all this, but let's talk just talent, like a Paul George or a Kawhi. Put a guy like that on that team with Dame and CJ, and no one's complaining about the 2 guards not being, 2-way guys and this and that. I think they missed the opportunity, and that's the last front office. Now, I don't mind Dame requesting a trade because I think he doesn't owe anything to the Blazers. He's given them everything he's had. The Blazers, I don't think, owe anything to him. They paid him like $500 million. I mean, this is business. Like, both sides have a contractual obligation to the other. This doesn't need to go scorch earth. Dame doesn't need to fuck over the Blazers. The Blazers don't need to fuck over Dame. I have no problem with Dame saying, look, I'm ready to move on. I need a change of scenery. I want to be on a contender. Yeah. I'm demanding a trade. And I think that the organization should honor that and say, you've given us everything. We're going to give you that. But I think where I get a little frustrated is I think Dame should be able to say, here's the 4 or 5 places I'm willing to go. But when you say it's 1, you've taken the team's leverage out. All those guys that are your teammates or you're friends with, you're putting them in a bad situation. You're putting the organization in a bad situation. And who knows if the organization, some Blazers fans are like, they lied to Dame. They said they were going to trade the 3 pick. Here's the thing. They might have said, Dame, we're going to try to trade the 3 pick. And they might have been handed bullshit for that 3 pick. Mm-hmm. As an organization, you have a responsibility, not just to Dame, but to the organization, not to trade the 3 pick for, a crap player and a first in next year.
Just because you said you were going to do it, you're not stuck on doing it because you got to make the proper organization move, and the people don't understand that a lot of times.
I think it's kind of shitty that Dame, if it's true, what's being said by the media, he's only going to go to Miami. He'll sit out if he goes anywhere else. That's the shit I don't like. And that's the thing that's inconsistent with Dame's history. And I think the organization should honor his request. They should say, hey, give us a list of 4 or 5 places you're willing to go. we'll make one of those happen.
On your point, that would be like when you're giving the Blazers that option, when you're giving them 4 or 5 teams of a wish list, you could put them in order. You know what I mean? You could put them in order. This is where I want to go first. This is where I want to go fifth. You could put them in order. But what you're doing is you're not screwing over the Blazers. You're letting them explore where they can get the most for their money. And that's what, that's the part. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Because when you say I'm going to Miami's gonna be like, all right, you're going to Miami.
We're gonna give you Tyler Hero and a couple of picks, like
some flaming hot Cheetos, and that's it.
Yo, if you have a business and you choose you're gonna divest a portion of it, you don't divest it for whatever, for $50 and a pack of Jolly Ranchers. You need to have the right price to sell that. Like, what we don't know is what was that offer for the 3 pick. And so you look at it and you say, here's what we know we could get with the 3 pick. Here's what we're being offered. We can't do that, man. For the Blazers, everything's lining up to say, focus on the future. You're not getting the free agent that you need. You're not getting those guys. There's no trade available. You got the 3 pick. You were supposed to get like the 7 pick. I think you got the 3 pick. You got this. It's a draft with 3 guys that could all be number ones in any other year.
That's right.
So take that guy and say, Dame, thank you for everything. Where do you want to go? We'll send you to give us a list of 4 or 5 places. We'll make one of them happen. And we're going to build the team. And the fans will always be grateful for all the value you built for this franchise.
How about just the fact that the Blazers don't want to be disloyal to Dame, but the Blazers are allowed to be excited about getting Scoop. You know what I mean? They're allowed to. Yeah. They could be like, yo, we want Scoop. And we just, this is who we're getting. Scoop is our future. They don't even got to make a move, and they're getting Scoop. Maybe the best move was not a move. There is a trade available that I thought about, and nobody was saying it. You remember what we spoke about?
Yes.
You actually sent me one person in a comment that said
a couple days after you said it. Yeah. So you brought up, what if the Lakers and Blazers just 1-for-1 went Dame for AD? Should you do that as either one of those teams?
It makes sense. If you break it all the way down, it makes sense. You're putting AD potential MVP caliber, just like Dame is MVP caliber. As long as he stays healthy, now you got the big man. So the Portland formula has always been the backcourt was popping, the big men were a little. All right, let's switch the formula. Now we got a high-scoring big man. And now let's run with this backcourt. Let's Scoop go. Let's Scoop go.
If you had Scoot and Shaden and Ant and Jeremy Grant and AD and Nurk, that's pretty fucking interesting, because the problem with the Blazers is always like guard. They want to run like a 5-guard set. And everyone that's a free agent always seems to be a guard in the year we need someone. I think it was super interesting. Now for the Lakers, I don't know if it's as compelling as for the Blazers in a way, because I don't know if Dame is like the need, but at the same time, what we were talking about is LeBron, he's a smart enough guy to go, hey, that's going to be my scorer. That's the guy I'm going to pass to. I'm going to lead the league in assists this year.
That falls directly on LeBron's Christmas list. A shooter with the efficiency of Dame that LeBron could turn to. LeBron, you know what LeBron does, bro? He goes like a freight train and he dishes it out. And the people he was dishing it out to this year, they're not giving him Dame's consistency. And LeBron is a smart enough player where, like you said, he could just facilitate all day long, pitch it to Dame. And if Dame is on them 40, 50-point games, they're winning those games. As a Portland fan that you are, I don't feel like you lose that much footing where you could just – if they were to do that move, you'll still be excited to see this season. As opposed to them just, getting a whole bunch of this and that and pick.
Do you think the Heat are a contender with Dame?
Yeah, they could come out the East because they could beat the Celtics. They could beat the Celtics. The Celtics, there's just something with that team. So the Heat, they could beat the Celtics. They did it this year. With Dame, they could compete. Could they beat the coming out the West? I don't know. I don't know if that puts them over the top of the West.
Let's not forget, the Heat got hot at the right time. They played the right style of ball, but I don't think most people expected them to get there, right? They had a nice run at the right time, but they were like, an 8 seed or whatever. They weren't a top 3 seed. Yeah. Next year, I think they'd be a legit top 3 seed, but that doesn't necessarily mean you come out of there either. So I think you'd have the Celtics, you'd have the Bucks. I think it would be a competitive. But it's not a layup for them to come out of the East. The West is going to be stacked, especially if you look at like the Suns with a year together, the Nuggets doing what they do,
the Lakers.
I mean,
they're gonna
there's going to be teams coming out of the West that I think will beat the Heat again.
The other thing is, I'm into coaching. You're giving Eric Spoelstra a new toy, and what can he do with that? He's one of the top coaches in the NBA, and that's not even a question. He's phenomenal. So now you're giving him a new toy, sort of like Wembanyama is with Pop now. He got a new toy. So these are the you know what I mean? Phil Jackson, Kobe, Jordan, like these guys get toys, and then they structure their game plan around them to highlight them. I would like to see what Spoelstra does with Dame and Jimmy.
So who's going to be the number one option with Dame and Jimmy?
I think it's going to be more of a who it is tonight kind of thing. If Dame is on, that's undeniable. You got to step back. The good thing about Jimmy is he could be off all day, and then later on in the game, he'll be like, all right, let me do it.
Jimmy, come crunch time, I think Dame and Jimmy would be a tough decision because they're both clutch. I think night in and night out, I think Jimmy be okay to defer to Dame to be that number one guy.
But Jimmy Butler, he's a small player. Anybody knows if you got Dame on your team and Dame is on that night, nobody else needs to touch it.